Hi, my name is Prerak Sharma. I am 21 years old, first year student of MBA Data Science and AI at IIT Mandi. You all know that I have started this, if you want to call it a series, I have started this series of talking straight in front of the camera for 20 minutes to improve my communication skills daily. This is what communication development is all about. Practicing talking daily. How do you improve at cricket? By playing cricket daily. So if I want to improve my communication, how can I do that? By communicating daily. Communicating means talking. It doesn't mean reading anything. It means actual talking. Letting my brain have a monologue in English, as my friend quoted in the previous video's comment. The monologue in my brain has to be in English. If my internal being talks and communicates in English, my verbal, my mouth, my communication to the outside world will naturally come at ease in English. And I believe I'm seeing some changes. If you go to my first video, although I'm just reading a book, or you can see my other videos, I believe I have some changes which I have noticed, and it was only possible. It is only possible if I am able to speak in English, if I'm able to communicate properly. It is not even about speaking in English. Communication is not about English. Communication is about making my thoughts come out in such a way that it creates a different impact. Although I don't have mastery over it, because as my friends reviewed, I ask questions, okay? You all know it from one of my previous videos. But what my friends told me is asking questions is not wrong, but the way of asking questions can be better. I can articulate my questions in a better manner so that the person whom I'm asking to, obviously, if I have some doubts and there is a person who I am seeking to solve my doubts for, he must have an authority over me. And a person, if someone has authority over me and a person whom I believe can solve my doubts, I should have some respect for him. And how to show that respect? Basically, that respect is shown by the way I communicate, by the way, by my actions, mostly by my actions. If my actions involve speaking, then how I'll communicate will derive the respect that I have for him. So if I am asking a question which might go in a rude sense to him, I should refrain from asking it. And a better version, rather than refraining, I should frame that question in a better way so that the person whom I am asking to doesn't feel disrespect. Because disrespect was anyways not my motive, no? So that is what I should work on. And today, CN IIT Mandi, it is necessary for MBA first year students. I don't know about other courses, but we have Bhagavad Gita in our course. Okay, we have a two credit course fully separated for just Bhagavad Gita. So the professor which was assigned to us, I had a question to him and he left the class. So to address my question, I was in a hurry. I quickly ran to interact with him. I shouted his name and he looked into on my side and kept on moving. I asked him. He told us that our mostly how our actions govern, what makes us do certain things or what makes us like certain things. So the first thing which we were told in the class was bodily pleasures. Whatever our five senses come in touch with decides what will happen to us, because these five senses are in touch with the world. Whatever we perceive is all through our senses. So the first contact with the world is through our five bodily senses. And what these bodily senses can be: sound, hearing. I was a little confused. Which sense has the topmost priority? I'll give you a second. What do you believe? Which sense has the highest priority in themselves? I'll tell you the five senses, okay? Hearing, listening, seeing, tasting, forehead, and the fifth one is touch. So, which one do you think has the most importance in our lives? So I believe you should pause this video and think about it for a second, and I'll now continue with the answer. So pri- the most important one, according to Bhagavad Gita or according to Sir, I don't know where this information comes from, but I know this is valid because it carries fact. The most important importance, the most important sense organ is our ears. Listening is the more primary basis. Why? Because learning happens through hearing, through listening. How do we learn? We learn through our ears. How do you know what I'm talking about has a meaning? I'm just making sounds. How can you make inferences from it? Can you learn by seeing something? Just by seeing me, if you mute this video, can you make any inferences? No, right? So the learning happens from listening. So listening is the most primary sense organ. So anyways, if you uh, might be considering that this video won't be helpful to me, this very fact will come handy to you in some point of your life too. You can flex this fact that you know about sensory information and stuff. So the primary senses, listening, and then we have different tastes, and we like touch. Touch is mostly responsible with the reproduction part. The partner which we choose is mostly touch, although there are many mental factors involved too, but mostly it is about touch. And then coming on to taste, we already discussed. The vision, what we see around, comes from our eyes. Taste we discussed, hearing we discussed, root what we visualize, the thing which we like. So the first contact is through our primary senses. And how do we get an inference from it? Our mind. Our mind gets signals. Our mind tells us what to do. Which taste do we most like? Do we like gulab jamun more or rasgulla? That is what our brain tells us to do. So the brain or the mind is influenced, the mental is influenced by sensory organs. Since what is the purpose of sensory organs? My ear is no will. It doesn't go towards something that I want to listen that. My mind makes that inference. If I am listening to someone's voice, if I'm listening to someone's music, if my mind finds pleasure in it, it will want to hear more of that, and accordingly it will give a primary advantage to that sense. So this is how mind and senses work. Now on top of that we have intellect. This intellect I was not much aware of, because Sir associated intellect with having a higher belief. I didn't know what he exactly meant by that. If you somehow um, achieve a liking towards any ideology, and if that purpose gets achieved, it will serve your intellect, and it will give you happiness beyond mental physical level. It somehow makes sense, but yeah, he said, if let's say that I'm protesting and my mental is at stake, my reputation is at stake, I'm a student. If I am protesting, people might think that this guy has no work, he should probably study and not protest. But his intellect says that no, I have to bear this pain, I have to bear this mental pain, physical pain, which is getting probably from the sunlight, from the disrespect mentally, that people are telling him you are not worthy or you are not useful. So bearing that and continuing with your purpose, and in the end, if the reason which you had protested for, it bears fruit, the satisfaction which you will get from it will be beyond mental and physical level. That is intellectual happiness, I believe. So these were the three things. So I was a little confused. So I asked, sir, you explained mind nicely, that mind have signals from the five sensory organs, and depending on how much information it has, it will create some inputs to us to interact more with the sense, which gives us more pleasure, or interact less with the sense, which gives us more misery. So I was a little confused about intellect, although I have much better clarity now. And also from a previous session with Sir mentioned that the mind, which has control over these five senses, the mind which is governed by intelligence. I don't know why intelligence is referred to this. It should refer to insight, and there is no gesture to exactly indicate towards insight. So I don't know why I did this, but still, mind which is governed by intelligence and which has control over these five senses can only deserve success because these senses are so powerful. They can infiltrate this system totally and go on wherever they want to. But if you want to achieve a desired goal, you have to control these senses in a way that your time and energy gets channelized into the particular direction that you want yourself to go to. How will you do that? If your mind is in control. If your mind is in control, senses will automatically be in control. Then the, I'll repeat the sentence again. Mind governed by intelligence can only reach towards success. So this was a pretty good thing which stayed with me from the previous lesson. So I asked him, Sir, you didn't explain intellect very well, although I get the mind part and the body senses part, but I didn't get the intellect part much. And also, you mentioned in the previous class that mind governed by intelligence is destined to become successful. I didn't get the intelligence part. What is intelligence, sir? What is intellect? Please tell me in the next class. I demeaned him somehow, I believe, by saying that, sir, you didn't tell what intellect actually is. He did his part. He had told us, and if I had this question, I should have asked him directly at that moment in the class. And I didn't mean it, but at that moment of time, my brain could process. I just wanted to convey my message before he goes in front from my eyes. So somehow this usage of words created might have created some sort, although sir has many years of experience, he knows where I was coming from. And if he doesn't know, right, this will create a disparity because it shows that I am blaming him directly, that sir, you didn't tell me what intellect is, you didn't tell me what intelligence is, although he had told me. I could have framed the question in such a way. So you mentioned bodily senses first and how mind decides which sense to go with and what pleasure it wants. But having an intellect, if you have a higher purpose or an inclination towards an ideology, you'll get better results. If and how this intellect, sir, I didn't get the intellect part. Can you please explain it in a better way, in a more elaborated way in the next class? This question would have made more sense. And also adding along, sir, in the last previous lectures, you also mentioned that mind governed by intelligence is destined to be successful. Sir, I didn't get the intelligence part actually. What intelligence is, I might have missed the part from the previous session. So, sir, please help me in recalling the intelligence part or explaining me it to me in a better way. It might help others too. So, please, thank you. This would have gone in a different sense, right? Instead of saying, sir, you didn't teach me intellect, you didn't teach me intelligence part, it shows a little disrespect. So I will work on it for sure. I will have to work on it for sure. Because my intention was not that, but intentions doesn't matter in our real life. To all the people who are seeing this, please understand this. Intentions don't matter. The only thing that matters are your actions. If your actions made someone feel bad, no, doesn't matter how good your intentions were. If they felt bad, you should be held accountable. It was because of your actions, your words, what you might have said that made him feel bad. What you can do is, rather than justifying that my intentions were good, try to improve yourself for the next time. Nothing else is in your hand. If the person wants to forgive you, he'll anyways forgive you. What you can do is improve yourself, improve how you'll act or how you'll behave or how you'll present yourself in that situation if it happens again. This is the only thing that you can do. So this was the part. And also one thing that I remember and the thing which I want to share with you all is that happiness is the prime goal. I believe happiness is the prime goal of us. Every action is derived by happiness. If I get $1 million right now, if any one of you guys got $1 million right now, and the desires which we have gets fulfilled through it, you get your desired house, you get the desired vacation. What is the end goal of it? Happiness. Being in a BMW, being inside a BMW will make you happy. Money gives happiness only if you can buy possessions with it. Possessions make you happy. But the thing is, even after buying that BMW, your desires will change. If you have the capacity to buy a BMW, you'll definitely want more. And this more never stops. And happiness is temporary. It's only till we achieve it. We feel like that this is going to be the last thing in the earth which I'll go and have. But it is the beginning of the cycle. So happiness is different for all of us, but happiness is the end goal. What we all believe, what we all are interested is in happiness. And only a person who is above bodily pleasures, who doesn't care about what senses want, what mind want, what material possession that he wants. Only a guy who's above it can have true happiness. Only a person who's above it can experience that bliss, that constant joy. Being in the material world, our happiness, experience with happiness will always be like this, up and down, being happy and being having misery the next day, the next second, depending on the information that we have, depending on the situation that we ran into. But only the guy who, but only the guy who is above all these material things and bodily pleasures can experience that happiness. I don't exactly know what Sir said, but it was something like Sansar Bhuta. I don't exactly know, so I don't want to misspell or give wrong information here, but something bhoot it was related to. So if you become a bhoot somehow, bhoot is not exactly the bhoot which we are conditioned to think of. So if we become a guy who's above material and bodily pleasures, we might reach that level of happiness. And above that is Anandamay. I can't exactly remember that, but yeah. So temporary happiness is temporary, and the meaning or definition of happiness is different for all of us. It totally depends on the conditioning which we had, the desires which we mostly focus on, and also the qualities which we have. The car that we all want to have might be different. But we all want luxury, we all want comfort. We have material possessions which provide us these facilities and these internal feelings. These feelings can be manifested by material possessions which we can have outside. So happiness is temporary. Going after eternal happiness is a fool's game. Find something that's permanent. Devotion, yeah, sir said one thing. Bhakti. Devotion is the thing which a person who's above all of this is into. Devotion. Yeah, devotion was one of the great points which I liked. And I feel great that we are being taught Bhagavad Gita. My I used to in my undergrad, right, and during my school years also, I was very fascinated about what life is, where we came from, where are we going to go, where did I come from, what my purpose is this life a game? Although I tried to somehow quench this thirst of knowledge by reading philosophical books, finding some theories out for myself in my mind, or somehow doing some talking to people, talking to intellectual people, but this time, for the first time, I'm being taught by actual professors who have done thorough research in this, in the Bhagavad Gita, the guide for humans, what it is said to be, and what it actually is, because it's not a religious book or something, it's just a guide for every human being. So, being taught Gita as a compulsory subject is life changing. I won't tag it as life changing, but yeah, it is great to have such course. All my queries can be addressed by a person who has the experience, who is utilizing the learnings of Bhagavad Gita in his real life. and was taught this topic multiple times, and who knows, if somehow I ask a question, he knows where I'm coming from. He has heard many questions from many sort of people, not just me, like 21-year-old. He has taught BTech students, corporate students, 21 years old, 28 years old, everyone. So every kind of thought that people have, he might have come across it. So being able to be present in the class of such individual is an opportunity for me. I'm grateful to sir for having us. I'm grateful for myself also for being here and getting knowledge from such respectable and well professionals. I don't want to call them well-trained professionals because that is a demeaning word according to me. So yeah, this is what I feel like. It's already been 21 minutes, so I won't take much of your time. If you like this video or some content which you liked, or you have any doubts, you can add it in the comments, or insights which you want to add, you are free to add it in the comments. If you want to somehow connect with me, my links to socials, Twitter and LinkedIn basically are provided in the description below. I hope you like this video. Do drop a like, comment if you want, and share this video. Connect with me on LinkedIn anytime that you want. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Signing off, Prerak Sharma.